Hey, my name is Gaia Athena and today I'm bringing you a book review on The Mother of All Christmases by Millie Johnson. This book is about 3 women who all become pregnant. First we have Eve. She is the co-owner of a theme park called Winter Wonderland that's all in the theme of winter and Christmas. Her baby is due on Christmas Day. She and her husband Juggs also decide to renew their wedding vows at Christmas time. But there are some problems going on in the park. Next we have Annie, and she and her husband own a small Christmas cracker factory. They've been trying for years to have a baby, and now that Annie thinks she's in the menopause, it turns out that she's actually pregnant. The third woman is Palma, and she has agreed to act as a surrogate for a couple that can't have children, but then unexpectedly the couple splits up and she is pregnant. When I read the synopsis of this book, I was quite intrigued, and so I decided to buy it and read it. And I didn't finish it before Christmas, but I did finish it just after Christmas. Although I would say you can definitely read this book as well when it's not Christmas, but it does have some wintry and Christmassy bits in it. These 3 women meet at the Christmas Pudding Club, and you follow them on their journey. When I had finished reading this book, it said in the acknowledgement that the author also has a short story written that takes place maybe about halfway through the book. And so I read that as well. And this is the cover for that short story. I hope you can see that alright. It's called The Barn on Half Moon Hill. And it involves one of the side characters of this book. And something that happens in the book but that is more sort of glossed over, not really described, is in this short story. And the author actually wrote this short story because I'm not sure if it was a friend of hers went through a real personal tragedy, and so all the proceeds for this story go completely to helping her. Okay, so on to the main book now. It is quite long. It is just over 500 pages. Which is quite long for this sort of, chick lit rom-com type book. But I will say this book is also very much about a friendship and of course pregnancy and children and love and all those things. It was not as love focused as some other books I've read in this genre. This was the first book I've read by Millie Johnson, though I have a few more of her books on my shelves. But this was the first one I read, and then the short story on my Kindle was the second. And I really enjoyed this book. It did take me a while to read it because it's been busy because of, well, Christmas and all that kind of stuff. Because I started to read this a few days before Christmas, and I finished it a few days after Christmas. So it took me a while to read it, but that didn't actually mean that I wasn't enjoying the book. I did enjoy this book. Can we focus, please? I'm sorry, I don't know how long that was out of focus for, because I was trying to look a bit into the camera as opposed to on the little screen. So, I hope I wasn't too out of focus, but yeah, anyway, moving on. I generally pretty liked this book. In the beginning, it seemed to me like, well, it felt like there wasn't enough conflict, if you will. Everything seemed to kind of, I'm getting out of focus again. Everything can kind of seem to go well, and sort of more conflict didn't start until later in the book. And I guess I kind of, at the time that I was reading it, I wanted more, I don't know, bears on the road, so to speak. This is an expression I recently learned from somebody. Anyway, overall I quite enjoyed this book. I liked the characters. Except ones you're maybe not supposed to like, sort of thing. So that worked out. The book is predictable in some ways, but a couple of other twists were things that I was not expecting. So it was partly predictable and also partly surprising. Now, personally, I don't mind if a book in this genre is a bit predictable. Often books in this genre are like a love story, and you can tell sometimes pretty early on, like, that the main character is going to end up with that person. And I personally don't mind the predictability of that, because I like to read this genre to like more relaxed and either like summer themed or winter themed books, and so I don't mind it if there are some predictable elements in these books. But anyway, yeah, I like this book. I also like to read about the different pregnancies, because aside from our 3 main characters, I'll just show you, see if that works. I don't know if you can see it all that clearly on the screen. I've never really tried to use the camera before. I haven't often had the camera on my big tripod. Right now, normally it's on the table and I'm sitting down on my couch, my sofa that you can see. That didn't go as well as planned. I'm just standing next to it now because I thought I'd give you a little bit of a different view, different lighting, because it is dark outside. Because after I finished this book, I was all planned to do my review, and then I found out in the acknowledgements at the back of the book, which I do always read those, that there was a short story, 81 pages, so I decided I wanted to read the short story as well before I could like do a review, combined review. So it's a bit later than I had originally planned, but I don't like waiting till another day for better lighting, because then my thoughts on the book are not as fresh, if that makes sense. Anyway, so aside from the 3 main characters and the important people in their lives, we also meet some other people that are also in this Christmas pudding club, and you also learn about their pregnancies, and I thought all the pregnancy stuff was very interesting to me. I don't want children personally, but I do find it interesting to read about children and pregnancy and those kind of things. I don't want that for myself, but I do find it interesting to read about. I don't know if that's weird or not, but then again, I guess a lot of us sometimes read books to experience other things that are not our own experience. So anyway, so yeah, I found that aspect of the book really interesting. Apparently she's written another book called The Yorkshire Pudding Club. I don't know if you can, it's here. That's a bit of a close-up of my face. I have that one as well, which is also about 3 pregnant women. So I look forward to read that one at a later time and see how I like that one. This is a newer release. This is, I think, from 2018. So I don't know if it is at all representative for other books by this author. This just happened to be the first one I've read. Somehow the synopsis really appealed to me. Anyway, I like that the book featured not only like friendship and love and a wedding, but also, well, renewing the vows. I mean, friendship and love, and there were themes of family and children in the pregnancy, and so I like that it had, yeah, quite a few different elements. I like, yeah, when I'm in the mood for that, I like to read these kinds of books. I don't read them as often as I used to, but I like to read one now and then, so yeah. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more now about the short story. But there's not much point holding my Kindle, so we'll just do it like this. So the short story involves a side character, and it takes place about halfway through the book. If you've read the book, you will understand what it refers to in the short story, so I would recommend reading the book first. This book. Before reading the short story, because otherwise it might, yeah, otherwise it doesn't, you could still read it, but you won't get as many of the connections, if that makes sense. I enjoyed reading the short story. I didn't like it as much as the big novel, but it was a nice read and a nice extra, and it's also nice knowing that the small price I paid for the book, that the proceeds go to the charity of the woman who, yeah, went through a tragedy. In the acknowledgements of this novel, the author also states that some of maybe the people and places that we've seen in previous books by her are in this book. I don't know if you can see that here. She lists the titles in italics. Now, I haven't read any of these other books. I did think there would be a little bit of overlap, because for example here this, so so for example her book Afternoon Tea at the Sunflower Cafe. The Sunflower Cafe is mentioned in the book, and I'd heard of that title, so I thought that would be a connection, but I didn't think there would be this many connections. And I think even one of the characters in, one of the main characters in this book you actually meet in a different book. Yeah, I don't know as far as this book would be considered some sort of spoiler, but so yeah, that's an acknowledgement. And I also like that my edition of the book came with some cracker jokes, because as I told you, Annie owns a Christmas cracker factory. Now that's a British thing. This author is British. We don't really have Christmas crackers much here. I have seen a few of them in shops, but it's nothing like in the UK, and I don't know if you have it in any other countries than the UK. Here, I live in the Netherlands, for those of you who might not know that. They're not really my sort of thing, because they can like make noise and stuff when you pull them, and I don't like stuff like that. But I did like reading about them, and so at the back there are a few pages of cracker jokes, which that will relate to something you read, some stuff that happens in the book. I did not find this book as Christmassy as I had expected to before I started reading it, but that might have also have to do with that that I read like half of this book after Christmas was over. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've read other Christmassy books in this genre, and yeah, this book, there wasn't, you didn't see Christmas celebrated as such in this book as I have seen in other books, which was, I was expecting the element and it wasn't there. But that doesn't matter, that doesn't make it any less of a book. Sorry, the phone rang and now I can't remember what I was talking about. Hey, just a little small addition to my review. I just remembered something that I forgot to say during my review that I had wanted to say. The book does use the white as default thing, in that there was one black side character in the book and her skin color is mentioned, and the skin color of all the other people is not mentioned, and I presume is white by default if you judge it by the cover and stuff. So that is one slight well, thing I have with this book, and I'm just going to keep pointing these things out as I see them until things have changed. So yeah, well, that's what I briefly wanted to say. So I guess I'm gonna wrap this up now. I don't know what note I left it off on, because I was probably talking when I realized the phone was ringing. So anyway, I like this book and this short story, and I look forward to read more by this author. Like I said, I have a couple of her other books that I've picked up when I randomly found them for good prices. So I look forward to read more by this author. My boyfriend's mother said that she liked this author, so that was after I had already bought books by this author. But anyway, so yeah. So yeah, overall, I liked this a lot. It was a nice, relaxing read, which was maybe just what I needed now. Sometimes I do like to read this genre when I'm in the mood for it. So, can we focus? Thank you very much for watching this video, this book review. I hope to see you in my next video, and depending on, it is currently a few days away from the end of the year. I don't know if I'll read anything else. If I finish any other book before the year is over, maybe. So you may see me again soon. If I don't read anything else, then you might not see any videos until 2019. But yeah, I don't know yet what I want to read next. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.